And this is a FLIR thermal imaging camera. So it's attached to a cell phone. So this is a device that they pretty much designed for like firemen. So they can easily throw it onto their phone. They just grab it from a pocket from their vest and they just throw it in there to help save people. This is the real deal. Like you guys, this is not an app you guys can go home and download, just so you guys know. A lot of people ask me where I get the app because it's on a phone. It comes with the actual very expensive camera. Now, with this camera, so you guys should be able to see me in there. So red, orange, and yellow guy. So sorry, fellas, but that means I'm the hottest thing inside the frame right now. It's going to work because they outnumber you. Sorry, that was a joke, ladies. You're supposed to chuckle. It's okay. Have a good time. Lighten up a little bit. Have fun. So we're going to be looking for blue and black. So blue and black spots, I want them to either move or to take shape. When I say take shape, I want head, shoulders, moving arms, and legs. So that's a cold person moving right towards us. That's what we've caught with this guy in the past. That's what I'll be looking for again. Do we get that every single night? Not necessarily. I probably get 4 to 5 solid pieces out of this guy per year, where I'm like, I'll put my stamp of approval that it is definitely paranormal coming at us, kind of mentality. So there's also a blue dot bouncing around the screen. Do you guys see that? Yep. So the blue dot is there to show you the coldest spot in the frame at that moment. So we're about 64 degrees out here ambient. So I'm going to be looking for 49 degrees and colder out of that blue dot in the events that we don't have like an anomalous like blue person walking towards us. So that blue dot could indicate that there's something else kind of manifesting and that the camera person just moved too quickly and we weren't able to see a full manifest. So if I see something that's, say, 35 degrees, obviously nothing should be 35 degrees out here. Right. So you guys are getting my point. So it'll turn into a square.
Yeah, cold hands, warm heart. Recording.
Got it. Keep it running until we regroup. So what will happen is we're going to spread out in here. I'm going to do, because it's a smaller group, I'll probably do 2 round robins with you guys just to kind of see what's going on, take some notes, and then regroup us back here, give you all of the answers, and say goodnight to Eliza, and we'll move on to our next space, and I'll explain each one as we kind of go along. So let's get you unmuted. Anna, you got anything else coming out of there? I'm not telling you any of those answers.
I just heard the number 25. So the bus next to the that very. I don't know how you can fix it. No more jumper.
Follow up with this camera in real time just because it is small.
Yeah.
I send those over to YouTube so you guys can watch them on your TV, and I actually watch them on a computer screen.
Cool.
That particular model, like I'm actually upgrading it up to an iPad, just because it's going to be quicker to upload and you guys can see it better in real time.
Right.
But that's on its last leg, so I renew these devices every 6 months. So, and that's just kind of the recycle part of it for me. Like I can either get an upgrade, I can try something new with it.
So the idea is keeping an image like Julia. I've got Julia in here for the heat. Don't want the sky.
Yeah, you're perfect. I mean, we have obviously a lot of weird, different types of ground in here between mud, gravel, cement. So I'm not always looking at the ground in this location. I'm usually watching the walls. So what I've caught in here in the past is that there were 3 figures that showed up cold behind my group right along that wall over there.
Okay, cool.
But that was, I don't know, probably a year and a half ago. So that was probably one of the bigger pieces from this location. And it's not always you have to stare at it either.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you wanted to help her out with hers, have you heard anything yet?
I'm waiting.
When I asked what happened to the house, she said, what?
Okay. Eliza, we're trying to learn more. These folks don't know about you like I do. If you could tell us what happened to your gorgeous home that was once here, that we're standing in the middle of, we would be appreciative. And hopefully the answer might even come to Anna over there. We'll see what happens. So, you're on the right track. You heard something. I'm excited about that. It's not easy.
got a report.
In most of the things,
Real or just
some of them, I would say that 90%.
What color was the house?
I heard something that's beginning to be like brown. But still start
Do
with
we
like-
know what color the house was?
The photo, like the pictures I have of the house are unverifiable.
Right, right.
And you'll see why once I show it to you. But you did hear the color blue.
Yeah.
What color was the dye that came from the indigo?
Blue. Well, if I made a bunch of money off a blue cash crop, I'd paint my house blue.
It was expensive, so they may not have.
Right.
It was very expensive.
They had what they needed, though.
Well, it's actually where the term royal blue comes from. So they actually sold it overseas to royals.
Every gallon.
So
Every gallon.
25 cents off, right? From the Get Upside app. There are certain things that I throw away. Get Upside
Yeah.
commercials get thrown away. The word Charleston gets thrown away because you're listening to Charleston radio stations.
Oh, yeah.
Too easy. And anything that's in the current year. Because we get a lot of car commercials. So if I had 2023, if the number 23 is relevant here and that's what you heard, I throw it away. That was really weird. That was not radio chatter. I don't know what it was. That's why we record the voice piece. So you'll have to go back and take a listen and see if you can make it
Yeah.
out. That was interesting. See, once you've been doing this a long time, you start to pick out like what's radio chatter, what's not,
Yeah.
what's a phone interview, what's a commercial. Like you can definitely tell like the different sound qualities of each thing. So when something comes through really odd like that, you're like, that was not a phone conversation from
Yeah.
the other side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like somebody interviewing through a phone.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you listen to the news, right? You know what that sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are easy to pick out now too. That was not. That almost had like an overtone to it. So again, it's very weird. Just telling you like what my thoughts
Yeah.
are right now. Like
Yeah.
I'm actually excited just because I don't know what the hell it's at.
Right, right.
So that was glass being thrown away. Oh no! Run, Brett, run! What do you think? Are you hearing stuff?
I asked what was your favorite room in the house. I heard sun. She heard fire.
Fire room.
That said lunch.
Yeah.
I like firewood. I didn't tell you.
What happened to the house?
You don't know that yet.
Well, you just said you liked fire room.
I'm just gonna go out
Yeah.
here and ask her. That's what made me ask a question.
We asked what was your favorite plant in the garden, and we both heard protect.
It's funny. It's actually almost the exact answer that showed up here a few weeks ago. Things like,
Protect.
yeah. So
We both heard it.
yeah. So and it's for the same question.
We asked the same question, got the same answer.
And again, when things like that, like when you guys tell me these things, I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. And then when it shows up again,
That?
that's where it jogs my memory. So I'm like, yep, I'm almost positive. I'm going to say probably 3-4 weeks ago, somebody asked that exact same question. And what's funny is she's given us her favorite, flower or plant.
Right.
She was a botanist.
Yeah.
That was kind of her thing. She was, just a plantation director. So she was like a plant.
I didn't know.
That was harder to do than one hand. She don't know what's coming. It comes out in a small burst, just kind of random. Alright, everybody, let's kind of see what that crop is doing. Weird. Alright, no other crazy
Nothing. No other craziness.
Julie, you got anything else? Did you hear anything else? All right, let's pull it to the back. Let's kind of go over these answers because Christy can't read.
Should I stop recording? Or
Yeah,
keep
go ahead
it-
and give your hands a break with your cameras.
Should I just
Yeah,
leave
let's
it?
get you on mute. Friday, Saturday, night, Sunday.
Oh.
Lose your sock, Brett, from running too fast.
I got your sunscreen on.
Oh, Bert's Cookies.
So, where do you guys live at?
We live in New Hampshire.
Okay. And you can keep track of that based on your guys' area codes.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I was like marketing, demographic kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and it kind of gave me a gist. During our move, I kind of lost track. And I'm like, I can't go back. That's like 3 months worth. Like, that's too many.
We just booked this while we were down here, right?
Yeah.
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 We were waiting to see what the weather was like. We were looking for a rainy evening.
I don't like it. So Friday night was our only night where it was kind of wishy-washy.
Yeah.
And I live an hour inland.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
my
if
God.
I see like we're gonna have a massive storm,
Yeah.
I have to cancel.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
electronics can't handle it. But it was kind of like on the fence, like it was going back and forth. So I drove all the way down, and we were like dodging rain all night long. Like
Uh-huh.
let's get under this shelter, let's get under that shelter. So I was like, I know you guys aren't gonna melt. Hide my equipment. Let's go into the parking garage.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet smells. I thought we'd still be running into tours on a Sunday. A week before Halloween.
Right.
Tickets left this week. Almost sold out.
There was a lot of weddings going on off Cape.
Well, that's normal for us. But college children are on fall break right now.
Oh, really?
So I thought for sure because I'm so busy that I'm going to be running into other tours.
Right.
In the wintertime, I swear, this is what it's like when y'all winter. Like I'm the only one out.
Yeah.
Like I'm all bundled up. I got cameras. You know, I'm ready to go. Did you hear anything else come out here? Like along the way?
Music.
There's nothing specific.
Yeah.
This bringing us down to like Queen Street?
That'll take you to Queen Street, yeah. But we're gonna stop here. We'll go ahead and put you on mute. We're gonna see, Anna, what'd you hear along the way?
Nothing like out of the ordinary. No like specific words, just a bunch of blur and singing and yeah.
Nothing that you could hear very clearly? Okay. Cameron, with your device, it's going to be like a 7 is the baseline here because of the lampposts around us. So we'll give off a little bit of EMF. I get excited about anything above a 7. So that looks like some of our actor studio down at the end over there. So there is, they use this alley for like any kind of galas or things like that. Not to mention, like, only half of this is available for tours. I'll explain because I've actually been kicked out of here in the past. But again, this is like, we don't go all the way through. So the fact that you asked me, does it go all the way to Queen? Yes, it does.
Yeah.
But that is considered
We
residential.
just ate down there earlier.
Oh, gotcha. But yeah, this is actually one of the most beautiful places in all of Charleston. This is one of my favorite places. Unfortunately, this is the one I'm retiring this year. So I'm taking it out because every ghost tour comes down here and it's kind of a staple. I like to do the things that the other tours aren't doing. I don't know that they're going to come up this way for any reason, but if they do, obviously you guys will kind of be more discreet with your cameras. That's a good point. But this is Philadelphia Alley, but it used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So basically, we're going to be here to stir this thing up with basically the history of it. We may hear things out of Anna's device. We'll keep you on mute during the history, but when we leave, obviously you'll unmute again. Every ghost tour tells the same story. I'm just going to give you a little bit more detail because you're ghost hunting. It's not just a campfire marshmallow ghost story, right? So here's how this goes. A doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. In the event that Anna hears the song Brown Eyed Girl while we're here, it's not coincidence. We get it all the time because it's part of his name. So again, it's just one of those pieces where you can't deny when it actually pops up. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd moves to Charleston to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. And as he's coming into town, the coachman that brought him in set him up to be robbed and killed. So it's like having a bad Uber driver. You guys have all had those, right? They set you up to be robbed and killed. I was going to say, really? You guys have had them that bad? But somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen because he's, somewhat of a local, and he knows the coachman that he's going to try to kill this newcomer. That gentleman's name was Ralph Isaacs that was walking by. I stop on Ralph because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. We were getting the letters RI all the time on spirit boxes like what Anna's using, so I bought another device that basically acts just like a Ouija board. It's called an Envoy, but it uses EMF like Cameron's device, and anytime there's a spike, it stops the cursor over the letter of an alphabet, and we hopefully get anagrams or initials or things like that. I've had that also for about 8 or 9 months, and I've had letters RI show up about 6 or 7 times. So I'm trying to figure out what you're picking up on over there. What do you have?
It looks like that little tree right
Is
there.
it that bush right there? Okay. We will have a small group coming this way, just so you guys know. It'll be about a minute or so before they make it here. But back to Dr. Ladd. Where was I? So Ralph was walking by. He's seen what was about to happen, and he stops the coachman, but goes to the doctor, and he says, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. I got friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them, and you'll be safe. The doctor took him up on the offer, and they became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making, proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. She got wind of this, and she's moving down so they could be married. Dr. Ladd now knows his fiancé's coming down, and he became known as the Whistling Doctor. I'm going to tell you that every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future has a cliched whistling ghost. We all have one. It's another reason why I'm taking out the story. So yeah, go ahead and be very discreet with that. So we're going to let these folks come by, and you're going to hear these people whistling because they just heard the same story I'm telling you right now. So just be prepared because they're going to be staring at all of your blinky light devices going, what are them guys doing? So,
Thank you guys.
You're
Sorry,
welcome.
our apologies.
you're fine, you're fine.
You guys have lovely rest of
So many times. I did. I wonder if she said find something with me.
So, anyway, we are not allowed down that far in this alley. Like, I don't know what the hell she was doing. She must be new. I'll tell you why. Just like once I'm done with the doctor story, because it's actually tells you why we go to the next space. Because I used to go all the way through.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Dr. Ladd. So whistling doctor piece, right? So Dr. Ladd and Ralph actually go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money now, so he gets better seats. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. So they talk about these plays on the way home. One night they go see Richard III from Shakespeare, and they're talking about this new actress that they had in town on the way home, right? Because they couldn't sit next to each other. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. It turns into an argument, and then Ralph is insulting the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. He got really ugly. So they go their separate ways. I told you Ralph has friends around town. He goes to the newspaper and places an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of shit. Doctor saw the ad, but rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this, and somebody's going to die. All this started over an actress, just so you guys remember where this argument started. Kind of dumb and silly. So they came down, they took their 10 paces away from each other, they turned. The doctor pointed his gun in the air and shot his one bullet. He did not want to kill his friend. Ralph has his one bullet, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. The doctor doesn't die. When he drops to the ground, his friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later on November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. I'm going to point out 3 things. Normally I point out 2 things, but we're on a special night. Tomorrow night is the anniversary of that duel. Yes. So, and also depends on which version of the story you read, right? So, there's a lot. I will also point out it's 1786. Gunshot wounds are a lot different than what they are now. Yes. And he was also a doctor, which is also why he refused medical treatment. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning and tried to bleed it out himself, but he failed because he died. Now, every ghost tour will tell you to listen for the whistles. We have 3 mechanical devices that are doing that for us right now. We have 2 video cameras plus my voice recorder. I will also mention we've gotten the words whistle, and along with whistling parts of songs with the word doctor from a commercial immediately after it on our regular spirit boxes, which is exactly why we record everything. So again, this is just stuff I can't make it up. I've seen it probably 2 or 3 dozen times. That's how much it's occurred in the time that I've been coming to this location. We've also gotten words like doctor, so forth and so on. But hopefully we're going to get clues to this space at the next location as well. Now, if you're going to try this on your own and go all the way through without me, because I already told you I can't take you down there, and use your voice recorders from your phones, just keep in mind that every local knows the damn story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every morning, I'm not going to lie. So my office is over here, my garage is over there. So I have to pass the alley, and ever since I got thrown out of here, I throw a whistle. Sometimes I get one back. Most of the time I don't. Here's how I got thrown out of here. This will also show you like some of the research that I do for these spaces. The alley didn't go all the way through this way. There was a wall halfway between where we're standing and Cumberland Street. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock. This was called Cow Alley. So imagine cows and chickens down here, basically. What does that mean? Those bricks on the other side, where that whole large group was just standing, those bricks are a lot older than the bricks we're standing on. Those are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down there, and fingerprint swipes and others. And when I was new at this, I used to take my groups down there just for a history piece. I wasn't looking for anything paranormal because that's the last place you're going to find that kid, right? I treat it just like I do a grave. So November 26th of 2020, my entire group is huddled around that brick waiting for something to happen with the gear I handed them. I know nothing's going to happen, and I'm also trying to be respectful because it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I didn't realize I was out of bounds. I was just trying to be respectful. Well, the new owner of that mansion came out that night, and he was screaming and yelling, and my daughter thought it was great because her dad was getting yelled at work. So she thought it was hysterical, by the way. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I work for the biggest retailer in the world and upper management. I don't do Thanksgiving because you guys like to fight over towels. We're going to put that out there. So you guys all know which retailer I'm talking about now, right? So with that said, the next day was the 28th. The dates are relevant. I'm going to get to it. I called my partner, told him what happened, and he laughed at me just like my daughter did. He's like, you're only allowed to go down halfway. It's residential past that. You're going to have to reroute your group. So when I told my team that night, man, it's Black Friday. I'm sold out again. I told them we got to reroute, but I don't believe in the next story because I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person, and we're discussing pirates next in case you haven't picked up on that. Yeah. And I've never had anything happen there before. However, somebody with a spirit box, here's the name, Anne. I didn't tell them who we are going to be investigating. The famous female pirate, Anne Bonny. So it's kind of like, okay, maybe we're going to get something. We get up and around the corner. I told them what little bit I did know about piracy. Remember, no time to research. Somebody else with a spirit box, here's the number 300. I don't know what that one means. I write it down. I do the research. We were there November 28th, of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy, November 28th, 1720. The exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. Yeah, you guys all nod your head. I was pissed. Let me tell you why. Pirate stories. Let me tell you why I'm not a big pirate person. At least I wasn't, at least back then. Simply because I have a master's degree in creative writing. So especially when I'm doing this, and even writing fiction, I like facts and data. Pirate stories come from pirate lore, which were written 100 years after the alleged happenings of when they occurred.
Right.
So I've had to read more damn books on pirates, trying to make sure what we're doing in this 15 to 20 minute space is going to be legitimate. That's a lot of reading for 15 to 20 minutes a night. So if you're getting my point of what we investigate. So it's a fun story, but it is a big roll of the dice if she'll even be there. She is said to be seen all over town because she actually lived nearby. So we will talk about that once we get over to the space. Man, you guys are like laser focused still. Christy, like you are still freaking me out with your laser eyes over there. Before we leave this space, the gate behind me, and I know some of this history can be long. You're very like, let's go.
Oh,
I want to
no,
hear stuff.
I'm used to him.
Gotcha. It's okay. Dads, that's what we do. So we just talk. We lecture. The gate, right where he's looking through. So remember I told you that the alley didn't go all the way through that way? If there was a loser to the duel over here, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of the wall. Otherwise, they're walking all the way down to Queen Street and then double back to go drop off the body so they can go celebrate the winner. Why not make it quicker by creating this? Now, the wrought iron that you're looking at was probably put there in the early 1900s, but the archway you can see is definitely part of the original wall. So not a whole lot of people know why this is actually there. So it's a very interesting piece. There's been a lot of duels down here. Some even say that Andrew Jackson had a duel down here, and that his bullet is still in the wall somewhere because he shot it off to the side. So take that for what it is. I can find no
That's so many, nobody could keep up with them.
I know. It really is. And dueling was illegal. So this was only one of the spots that they actually had duels in. So with that Andrew Jackson piece, I've looked and I've talked to, we actually have a dueling expert here in town. I've talked to him, emailed him back and forth. I'm like, yeah, my folks, my locals keep telling me about this duel about Andrew Jackson in Philadelphia Alley. He's like, yeah, I got nothing. So just take it for what it's worth. I do my research. I interview my folks. You guys ready to talk about some rated R pirates?
Yes.
Nobody got my dad joke? That was a very quick pause. Like, wait. Yeah, we're ready. Any numbers?
No, nothing.
Nothing. Absolute zeros.
Absolutely nothing.
Anna, did you hear anything?
Nothing.
Hey, what
All
was the name of the actress?
What was the name of the actress?
That they argued over?
Yes.
I have no idea. I've dug into it. I can't find it.
Okay, I was hoping maybe somebody would tell her.
If she gets a name, I can look to try to verify it. But during that time frame, it's very hard to find the playbills of when those things actually occurred. Because I've dug and dug and dug. I'm like, I can't.
I did, whenever you started talking about the pirates, I heard like a 1 second long pirate shanty, like your basic pirate shanty.
Nice.
That was
It's
about
probably
it.
a commercial because I think
Yeah.
there's 1 or 2 commercials using sea shanties right now. But I like it. What's funny is where we're going. I'm not going to do that because it'll plant it in your head. I don't want to do that. So for those of you with cameras, if you want to keep them running because we're going up around the corner, you can. If you want to give your hands a break, that's fine too. But yeah,
I've been recording. I've just been holding it this way.
yeah, I figured as much. You can unmute along the way. Let's do this. And I won't talk to you so you can actually listen. I kind of distracted you from
I wonder if this goes down here.
yeah, but that side of the person might have.
I was wondering if this goes to 82 Queen or 88. Remember we kept on saying when people were passing through.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it was that gate coming through that was coming through.
Girl, I said go! Oh.
battery.
What?
The magazine.
Anything? Nothing at all. Anna, anything coming out of yours? Alright, so I'm going to explain our last stop, which is the next stop, kind of ahead of time because I've been kind of toying around with something all through our evening. So the next stop we're going to be using the Estes method. Does anybody know what this is? Have you seen it before?
What
You're not-
method?
It's called the Estes method.
No, no.
Is it like is it a machine or is it like visual, vocal?
Alright, so let me explain what this is. Oh, we have something going on. Well, we do have a lot of trees over there, unfortunately. It's alright, we have it on recording. I'll definitely take brighten up the video and see what we have, because we've had other
I think
figures
it's
here.
this.
It's kind of high.
I think
It
it's
is
the
really
sign.
high. It looks like it's actually above that.
Yeah, I think it's the branches of the tree.
It's okay. I'm going to take a look at it. It's a good catch. When I get to debunk things, that's me working. I love it. So the Estes method, let me explain what this is, because we're going to be, two of you are going to take part in this. So basically, I'm going to take Anna and I'm going to blindfold her, and I'm going to put noise-canceling headphones over top of her spirit box. And I'm going to talk to her as if she's our ghost. And she's not going to know the history of that space. They call this the Estes method simply because it was started in Estes, Colorado at the Stanley Hotel. So it is a very interesting experiment, whereas with her not knowing what's going on in that space and who we're looking for, she's going to be literally repeating whatever she hears in real time, so it should look like a conversation in the event that it is successful. The secondary person, and I'm probably going to take Julia, she's going to be wearing a virtual reality headset. And she's going to have my phone in there that's going to use the magnetometer of my phone, and it's going to create AI images based off basically the EMF around it. It's just like Cameron's device. So it's going to translate it into an image. So you don't have to use the VR cam with it. It just makes it more exciting. Now you two will be sitting together, and you're also not going to know the history of the space. So you'll be able to hear the questions I'm asking her to kind of see how this goes, but you're not going to know why I'm asking what I'm asking. But I started running that the AI imagery while we were over at the Pinckney Mansion site, and I just want to kind of give you guys the gist of the images that I caught over there. Now some of them are going to be, they're very odd and weird, just so you guys have an idea. So this one, I have no idea what this is about. So this is obviously very abstract, I have no idea what this is. However, going the wrong way. That was next. So definitely looks from the time period of we'll just say late colonial days. I don't know who this is. So again, it's a vague stretch. So we actually had, I would look at this and say, okay, what's the clothing, and do a Google Lens search on it to see if it was from the right time period. The next image is almost like an Escher painting, but it's a little on the darker side. So you can kind of see, again, this is all AI imagery. And what color is a big red barn? This was one of the first things that popped up. And then this popped up. So I don't know who this is either. So you can see where some of these images can be a little convoluted, but I always like to kind of give you a gist of what to expect out of this. Now I'll be honest with you, I use AI imagery on a daily basis, simply because I use it to create social media posts for this.
Okay.
And I just basically tell my phone what I want it to create in what imagery, and then it'll create it for me. I slap my logo on it, and I make a Google or Facebook post out of it. And I'm usually very specific. So just kind of when Julia's under, with that piece, I want you to kind of think of it as if the ghost is whispering into my phone to translate whatever image they want us to see. Does that make sense? So just kind of think of it that way, if you really want it on a paranormal spectrum kind of piece. But it is scientifically creating imagery out of EMF around the phone. That's basically how it works. So do we have another figure going on?
Nothing.
Damn it.
My,
You gotta get
Well,
Christie's.
we're looking for temperature
right.
readings. I mean, I'm not. I haven't been focused in here. I've been
Yeah. I know, because a lot of times
But
when I'm talking,
I've been focused on the direction that I'm pointing this.
Have you noticed?
that ivy wall
Yeah,
is not going to be your friend.
when you
just
look
so
at the
know. It's
temperature,
covered in leaves.
see this that's moving around. It's got the actual temperature on there,
Yeah.
and
Now,
you would
the
see in
2.5
the
in here,
image.
Cameron, is exciting.
Okay.
Just so you know,
What is it?
if he gets a 2.5, it's exciting in this location.
Nothing.
Oh,
So
Zero.
I would say like 75% of the time, we will find all zeros. So there's a more likelihood that you will get nothing versus getting that small 2.5. And part of the reason why I go to the 2.5, by the way, everybody, is because the natural EMF from the Earth is 1.1. So that's why I go straight to 2.5 to make sure it's not coming from the Earth. Charleston, right away. So let's talk about why we're here. This one, we're going to cover the history, and then we're going to spread out like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. But this is not a prominent English woman where we're going to tiptoe around and be brief. Like, we're going to spend some time here based on what's going on. So we're going to be looking at that little tiny building, just like that tour was before it was that just left. Those are not crosses on that building, by the way. Those are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with what an earthquake bolt is, it's basically a turnbuckle. It goes all the way through to the other side. In the event that we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, you can tighten them. And it tightens up the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So the only reason I bring them up is because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in, and it's part of the reason why we're here. That's the first set because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. And this building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny came here to start her new life. It's something what I call a familiar, kind of like what we just did with Bleed Over. Familiar is basically something she would recognize from her own time era. So, getting tree branches.
Yeah.
So, with that said, she is said to be seen all over town. So the hope is that she's going to be here at the same time we are. Meantime, we can also kind of see what's coming out of your spirit boxes for Bleed Over. Now, the building took 10 years to build. Our history begins for Anne Bonny right in the middle of that construction, so try to follow me. There's a lot of twists here. So I'll slow down on those twists and make sure you guys grab them all. 1708. Oh, by the way, does that sound like our government small building, 10 years? No, not at all. I'll answer for you. So 1708, follow me. A young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. You guys with me so far? Good. The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that she kicked them out of the country? So, and there's no planes. They came here by boat. They land in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation up there, and Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is now sending young Anne down here to Charlestown to sell things from the plantation to help keep things afloat. So, hence the familiar building. Now, back home in Ireland, Anne was a badass even back then. I know history's long, Anne. I'm trying to get through it for you. They say she was a badass in Ireland. When she was only 7, 8, 9 years old, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. So I can't tell you how many times I've had servant, knife, and belly show up from 3 different people, and nobody else knows what the other 2 people heard. Now, back to Anne, fast forward, the building's done in 13, but by 1715, pirates are starting to come through Charlestown. Anne is stoked. The reason why, she's going to fall in love with one of these gents, so that way she can earn her freedom, just like a man. So again, women were oppressed pretty harsh back then. First guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there's a handful. That's what makes the story so damn good. We're going to cover them all. First guy is James Bonny. You can already see where this one's going, right? You know her pirate name, but Dad didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married. So that's where the pirate name came from. Anne Bonny came from James Bonny. However, when she gets down there, she realizes her new husband is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer, which makes him a spy for the British. He's a coward. This isn't who she wants. She falls in love again. Guy number 2, John Rackham. Everybody calls him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who this guy was.
Pirate flag at 142.
He has his own ship, he has his own crew, and Anne wants to be part of that crew. You cannot put a female on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why? Keep it family friendly. I see those wheels spinning.
It's a whole bunch of
Temptation.
Bad luck. We'll go with that. And that's why I say keep it family friendly, because your guys' wheels start spinning. But anyway, so he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like a crew, you can be part of the crew. She's okay with this. The reason why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world, like I said. But she's a female in his quarters. Let's put 2 and 2 together. You cannot have a pregnant female dude or a pregnant pirate dude on the crew, right?
Can't have a pregnant dude on the crew.
Yeah, exactly. So he decides, because she did get pregnant, and he's going to drop her off in Cuba before she starts the show. And, yeah, oh well. I appreciate it though. Like they're not paying attention. Film them away. She just like moved her camera because they were walking by. So he drops her off in Cuba and says, "Come back later. These are friends of mine that'll help you out, and we'll figure it out when you get back." So she goes and has that baby, but returns without a child. We have no idea what happened to the baby. None of my research has ever found it. Again, tons and tons of books about pirates, no word. But she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty pissed off. So to make him even more mad, she is going to go flirting with the pirate crew he just captured. They're down below deck. Guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, just like a guy, to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. Now we have 2 females, just like males, trying to be pirates on the same ship. Her name, Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers, but we're not going to really know for sure because of the time frame, and like I said, it's pirate lore. But the British find out where they are. They send a whole fleet of ships to come take down one measly little pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates that weren't drunk enough to come up and fight with 1-bullet flintlocks. They don't know how to use cannon jets because they haven't been pirates for very long.
Yeah.
So, obviously 2 ladies with 1-bullet guns are not going to work out against a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested, and as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her beau and captain, and she says, "I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up a lot on communication devices. I've seen it dozens of times. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. They're dead and gone. The 2 ladies go in front. They reveal their gender. They're hoping to save themselves.
Yeah.
The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. So he's still going to hang them.
Yeah.
They scream out, "We plead our bellies," basically claiming to be pregnant. You cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail and delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne and brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending because we don't know much about her after her pirate career. It's all speculation. So I'm not going to sit here and go through all of the different scenarios of what could have happened. I'm only giving you the things that came out of a minimum of 2 resources from her actual pirate career. Mary Reed died 5 months later in a Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Most books will tell you that it was something simple like fever. I'm going to say let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. I don't care. Let's have some fun with this. Here's what I left out of the story. So for all of the communication device folks, I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents on purpose. I know what they are, but I figured you're going to need something to work with here. So that's the father and the mistress. Bless you. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship. The name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland comes up from time to time, and the color of her hair. So I am going to be running that AI imagery. It looks like all of a sudden there's a bunch of tours in here, which is super weird because I don't time this, so I don't even know what time of night it is right now. So we just kind of go. We must be off time because this is weird for me to see this many tours. But yeah, just watch your filming when we're kind of scouting about. If you want to go towards the wall, there's actually seats up there. If you just want to go up there and listen, that's kind of cool too. But that wall actually has a little ledge towards the bottom, so that's actually where we're going to end up anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm going to run that AI imagery to see if I can get any piratey terms. I'm hoping to actually be able to start doing that VR headset piece here to kind of preamp the last location of doing it with the Estes method. But yeah, let's have some fun. Let's spread out in here and let's do this.
Okay.
Cam, just so you know, in the corners, sorry, I didn't mean to call you Cam if you don't like that. There are 2 electrical poles in the corners, parking meters on the other side of those bushes.
Let's go. Let's go
What's
over.
that?
Let's go over by the.
You probably won't get as much from that one as you do these over here. This is basically powering like the very small truck.
Julia. Julia, let's go over. Let's go over here. I want to take a picture. I wanted one with the one like that.
The pirate Anne, right? Her
What's
name is
that?
Anne.
What'd that say?
I don't know.
What did you say?
What color was your hair? The name of your parents.
What was the ship's name?
Oh yeah, what was the ship's name?
Stay. Come back over here. I want to get a picture with you behind them. There you go. Ooh, 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 ooh. Stand very still. Stay right there. I'd come this way. Okay, let's walk along the. Let's get away from their tour.
What did you see over there? Did you see something? Was it a cool spot?
It was cool, but it was down by. It wasn't as cold as it. Yeah, it wasn't like super cold.
Another one. Looks like cobblestones to me, possibly.
Mm-hmm. Or sausages.
Or sausages. It's like it takes a while for it to like fully generate, so we can actually make things out. But the last one just looked like a field.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know if it was like a plantation field, because they would have had a rice plantation because it was Georgetown. They're known for their rice up there. But this one is definitely odd. I'm going to wait for it to disappear before we take a look at it, because sometimes you can, like, we see it moving right now because it's trying to generate, and then once we get the still of it,
So these would all be stills,
yeah,
generally?
so it comes up like that.
Oh.
So now I can definitely see we have like some grain stuff falling almost out of like whatever this is, and obviously some, I can't tell the time period, but God, it's weird. It's almost, and that was what came up before.
Oh.
So again, definitely a field. I just can't tell if it's a rice plantation field,
Mm.
because you would need water for that.
Right.
Right.
And then that one showed up as soon as we got here. So we are near the tallest church steeple in Charleston.
Which church is
That's
this?
St. Philip's.
St. Philip. We walked by that. That has the thing that says the only ghost
Ghost
in the
the Holy
graveyard
Ghost.
of the Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like every ghost tour's
Yeah.
ending.
Yeah.
I only tell that story if something pops up with it.
Right.
So because we are close and we will get that proximity from it. But yeah, this is interesting. Like I'm almost like picturing the inside of a ship. So, like this would be the hull, and then the workers like underneath. And like obviously these might be the potatoes they need to peel, sausages,
Oh, yes.
whatever.
Right.
That's kind of how I'm looking at this photo. But even still, when I get it on a computer and it's on a much larger screen, I can see something completely different. That's what's so weird about it. So it's just very interesting how these pieces pop up. But I do like it, definitely, because you would need marshlands to create
Right.
this.
Right.
It seems very weird. It's not like we have a full moon tonight. Why are they showing us a damn full moon? Okay, there we go. Okay, have you heard anything?
No. Just a lot of.
A lot of that.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on. I haven't followed up with Anna yet. I was showing, I was working with Christy over there. We might actually have something. She's got something that's kind of coming in and out a lot, and it's not staying the exact same shape when it reappears. So it's definitely testing things out. Probably asking questions at this point, like raise your hand, move your leg, that kind of thing, like trying to get a direction. So that's the fun part of that. That's what I love about the cameras when we actually have those interactions.
What if you go near her and see if you pick up anything?
Yeah, I'll go back. Plus I want to make it interesting for her too. For the girl. Yeah. She's like she's big into it. So.
Yeah, but she's here now. It's Christy who's seeing her.
Look how this looks with them over there. Look how that looks.
Learn the areas. Read.
Well, as soon as I saw your cell phone and you said you had 20, I'm like, that.
Yeah, I was typing it out and it jumped up.
I had noticed that when I was standing over there, I heard like church music. Which is,
I'm not surprised.
yeah.
Because this was the first image that showed up when I came in.
Oh wow.
We do get a lot of the word church. And by the way, not to mention, we're on Church Street. So that's Church Street right there. The images that are popping up, like there's another field over here, just so you know. And then a little group of gnomes.
A little group of gnomes.
I have no idea. So the gnomes popped up when I walked away from you guys. And then, where am I at? This guy. That's the last one.
Christy is fascinated.
More farmland.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we're getting a lot of farm type stuff too. Probably a reference to her father's plantation. But I'm waiting for like the very cheesy pirate stuff to come up. That's what I'm waiting for.
Christy's not involved over there.
Well, I showed her a few things because we might actually have something, and she's testing it out.
Okay.
So, and only because some of the points that were coming up weren't landing on like the edge of the wall or
Right.
this, that, or the other. It was kind of in the middle of nowhere, which is the good stuff. So excited for it. She's very quiet. Is she always this quiet?
Yeah, she's intense. She's being intense.
Okay, I'll take it. It's the quiet ones I worry about. Come on, and we would love to hear anything you want to tell us.
Right.
Chef?
What did you like most about here?
How does this pick up shadow?
It's an absence of light. So it looks like it's in front of something else.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Because it was picking up my shadow.
Mm-hmm. Absence of light.
This is
Yeah.
30.
So you're above the wall,
Oh,
and it's
above the
going
wall.
in between
Oh,
the
okay,
gaps.
got it.
The gaps of the trees.
Got it.
So they're down in White Point Garden. I'm sure you guys like went past there at some point during your trip. That's at the very tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tip of the peninsula.
Yep.
There is said to be.
Well, actually, we didn't go. If you take King Street all the way down to the Battery, we didn't go anywhere right of that.
Okay.
They're doing construction.
Oh, okay. Well, right there at the tip, there's basically a small park. It's called White Point Garden, and that's where we had some pirates that were hung, and they were left there to show pirates you don't come here, kind of mentality. And they're said to be hung pirates that are found in the trees. Well, guess what I have? I have all the cameras to be able to go down
Oh,
there and
cool.
find things
Yeah.
out. Nothing there. All of my spirit boxes were silent. All of my EMF readers were at zeros. And if they did get a reading, I can debunk it right away. I've been there dozens of times trying to look for things like that.
Yeah.
Nothing. Because if you look up into this tree right here. You see how all of, well, probably a little too close, but you wouldn't be able to see how all of this, all of these cold spots.
Yeah.
We have a lot of the moss trees down
Yeah.
there.
Right.
So it's going to look in the dark like something's going on there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be like a cold figure spot or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
So when I have this down there, I'm like, yeah, there's nothing going on
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have no doubts that we hung pirates down there.
Yeah,
But at the
right.
same time, their spirits aren't here. They're not going to hang out where they were killed,
Yeah.
not necessarily.
Yeah.
There's going to be where the raised emotion is.
Yeah.
So, but like this one, this is just a familiar. So that's why it's kind of a big roll of the dice. If we get something, awesome. If we don't, we can move on.
Yeah.
But Christy's like really being intense over there with what she's got.
Yeah, there's something over there, huh?
I'm going to give her another minute before we wrap this one up since no other words were heard. Anna hasn't even gotten anything either.
So Nick, what got you into ghost hunting?
I've always been interested, even when I was a little kid,
Yeah.
like just afterlife stuff in general. I was raised Orthodox.
Yeah.
We don't talk about these things.
Yeah.
So when I became old enough,
Yeah.
it was like free for all.
Yeah.
So I started writing books. I was writing fiction. And then when I got into actual ghost hunting, it was when I moved to South Carolina.
Yeah.
I met a psychic and I was working on a book for him. Like I was going to write just about him and his abilities and the places we were going.
Look, it'll actually pick up my shadow.
And somebody actually read the blog and podcast because I had to put the book project on hold because we weren't getting enough spaces. So somebody heard my podcast and kind of introduced me to ghost tours when I moved down here, and I just walked away from 6 figures to roll the dice on this.
Yeah.
And now I mean, I'm continuing writing. You know, I'm on. Obviously, going to be in the news soon again, but I'm on a lot of other podcasts. I have a workbook out there for other paranormal teams to learn how to measure their results. But this is because I have so many hours in the field. Like, I have more hours doing this than the damn TV show hosts.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I'm out here 2.5 hours, you know, 5 to 7 nights a week, just depending on the weather.
Yeah.
But
Is there a time of night that you find is better than one than another, or day, or day?
yeah, ghosts don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like when I do my investigations, like I go visit the museum during when
Yeah.
it's opening hours,
Yeah.
and I'm just running equipment.
Yeah.
I listen and watch things
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
So what I find is what I find. What I also find is that ghosts don't care. This darkness is for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's. You know, I'm not going to take you
Right.
guys on a ghost tour at 2
Yeah.
o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, the ambiance is gone. But I do have cameras that work better at night. Like that infrared camera works way better at night. But, I mean, this whole thing, not to mention, it's really quiet right now. That's kind of the nice thing.
Yeah.
So if I'm out here during the daytime, I'm just running into tourists everywhere.
Yeah. Right.
So,
Right. Oh yeah, it's packed out here.
Yeah. And the fact
Yeah.
that I live an hour away, like, I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah. So tonight was really kind of crazy because when we walked out of the hotel, the streets, King Street was empty.
Yeah. On
It was-
Sunday.
Yeah, it was pretty empty.
Yep.
You know,
You're in the
it was-
Holy City.
Yeah.
So it's another reason why, like, I don't overly advertise here. Like, you guys find me.
Yeah.
Like, and I stay pretty busy. For a couple of years, I actually have to move to New Orleans because my wife has to finish up her degrees down there. And, like, poor me, I'm going to be in New Orleans, the voodoo capital of the world.
Right.
So, and I told her, I was like, you know we're not coming back.
Yeah.
I was like, just because my daughter, my youngest, will be in college in Savannah. So once she's settled, my wife will be wrapping up the last of whatever she needs to here, and then we'll be gone. So in about 2 years, I'll be heading to New Orleans. So hopefully it's around that 2-year mark. She says 2 to 3 years because she
Yeah.
has a couple of courses she has to wrap up down here at
Yeah.
CFC. But she's going to be going to LSU to become a vet.
Oh, cool.
So again, it was kind of like another different career
Yeah.
path for her
Yeah.
too. Like she's seen what I was doing, and she's like, "Well, I want to follow what the hell I'm passionate about.
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
then go do it."
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm not your ex where he's going to hold you back. Go."
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
So her bachelor degrees are in the arts. So while we're here, she has to make up some of the sciences that she missed. So she's wrapping up her master's degree now, which is in animal behavior. She's going to wrap up the bachelor of science courses at CFC, and then she'll be able to apply to LSU to go down for her DVL. So I told my mom, bringing a doctor into the family.
Yeah.
Why the hell not?
Right.
But between like my writing, like this is what I'm trained to do is write.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's about the research. So that's what makes it fun for me. I mean, we haven't had a whole lot of like super excitement tonight, but I'm also honest
Yeah.
with you guys.
Yeah.
That's the fun
Yeah.
part. Is
Yeah,
like
it's-
I'm like, I'm not a TV show host. I'm not
Right.
definitely not going to make
Yeah.
shit up.
Yeah.
But if we have a light night, which we are,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you at the end of the night, this was light, but I don't know what I'm going to find when I get back. We may have just missed a lot of things in real time.
Well, hey, listen, it's the way it goes.
Yeah.
It's the way
And
it goes.
again,
you know, it's all about the experience.
They're
you know.
not on the payroll.
Yeah.
I can't tell the ghost what to
No,
do.
no.
I can ask nicely.
That's like the whale watches, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Well, dolphin watches down here, you got to go at the right time of day. If you're not there at the right time of day, you're not going to see a dolphin.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
So, Julia, what do you got?
Well, the only thing
when I was asking the name of her mom, I heard girl,
Okay.
and then I asked again. It sounded like Connie.
That's how I'm downloading. Another Get Upside app commercial, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But Connie is wrong. I don't know who Connie is. I'm still writing it down because I don't know who it is. And then, what was the other phrase you said? Oh, girl.
Girl.
I'm not surprised that you heard a female gendered term because we get it here all the time. So anything that is dealing with specific gender, obviously because she was a female dressed as a male, we get those kind of things all the time. Girls just want to have fun. That lyric will come through, you know, that kind of thing. So it's almost like she's fighting the oppression still. So let's follow up. Anna, you got anything going on at all? You haven't been shouting anything out at me, so I was like, she's got to be pretty quiet over there.
No, we're not getting a lot of nothing.
Okay. Christy, you think you got enough footage for me to take a look at? All right, let's go wrap this one up because there's not a whole lot going on here for sure. Been pretty light.
Prep it for Halloween.
Dr. Black would have come through, but again, if he was quiet over there, again,
I tried to bait her. Who was your best lover? We heard now or never. You seem to like a lot of them, so I figured that must be a good question.
well, if I know anything about pirates, the 4 levels that I told you about are probably multiplied by at least 3.
Yeah.
So it was during the golden age of piracy, so I'm sure she supported a lot of favors. So cameras, let's go ahead and get those on stop, and then of course, thank you for muting. Let's go over the very quick. Heard anything yet, Julia?
No. I'm asking the name. What's your name? Who the heck are you?
Again, it's just one of those legends and lore of Charleston. I've never caught anything while in here. I know the tours will actually focus, they'll go through here. But again, you guys know my thoughts on cemeteries. I'm not going to get a whole lot, at least on a regular basis. Is it fun to walk through a graveyard at night? Hell yeah, it is. But I'm not going to get activity out of it.
Right,
At least
right.
nothing I can solidly say. This is what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So is this what you two thought you signed up for, by the way?
Yeah.
Now that we're kind of
Yeah.
nearing the end of it?
Absolutely.
Again, I'm not fishing for compliments.
No,
It's
no.
just like when you guys show up, you're like, I have no
Well,
idea what
this
to
is-
expect.
This is fun. This is fun. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I was hoping.
Good.
Hey.
You guys were the ones that were walking too, right?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
You guys were walking back somewhere?
Yeah, to our hotel.
Where's your hotel now?
oh, right down here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So you're 1 block.
Yeah.
Just so I know how to get you guys back.
Yeah, yeah. We know where
Yeah,
we're.
we know where.
We've got
I
to.
figured when you're naming streets before you get to them.
Yeah, we're I think we've become very comfortable walking around Charleston
Yeah.
without a map now.
Yeah.
It's a pretty easy city to learn.
Yeah. So when I bring my in-laws are coming down in November, and my father-in-law is like my biggest fan. Like he comes on every tour when he's
Yeah.
down here.
Oh, good.
Like he comes down, he helps out with the equipment,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. Like I was on the phone with him today, and he's like, "So what am I gonna be doing now?" I'm like, "Well, you haven't seen the blindfold test yet,
Yeah.
so you're gonna be working on that. You know, I gotta put you under a few times."
Yeah.
But my mother-in-law is like, "I don't know how you like zip around the city the way you do." I'm like, I'm down here every night.
Right.
Mom, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, I think we've hit just about. I say just about everything in Charleston. We've done a pretty good job at covering the city in 5 days.
Yeah. And what's funny is what I normally tell people, like, if you're really going to explore Charleston, it's not always about downtown. Like, spend a full 7 days because there are plantations all over.
Oh, yeah, so we went out to Boone.
Okay.
Yeah, Boone Hall.
Did you go to Magnolia?
No, she's been to Magnolia before, so we decided to go someplace different that I hadn't been, that she hadn't been to. And then next time we'll go back.
You know, and I always tell people go to Isle of Palms, go to Sullivan's Island.
Yeah, this time we decided not to get a car, and
Nice.
we Ubered into town.
And those are the
and-
shoes you brought?
Oh no, I've got
Yeah,
trail
those
shoes. I got
shoes,
trail
yeah.
shoes, and you know.
Sorry, were you guys like gathering pictures of cobblestone?
No. I pointed down the alley.
That's actually a road.
Yeah.
When we walked down the road, that exact road, we walked about the cobblestone down there. A great speed deterrent.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, do not take a car down
We were not speeding down those roads.
there. No. Not at all.
Which church is the one with white steeple here? Is that
Saint-
St. Michael's?
Right.
Okay. So that's the one that we haven't been to, St. Michael's, right here. Miss Washington?
Yep. Washington Park.
We didn't walk in here.
It's
I
beautiful.
think we took the carriage tour went by here and pointed it out. Is that like a miniature Washington monument?
This is
This-
the Washington Monument, but that is what is the obelisk here for? I'd have to. There's so many monuments in here, trying to
Yeah.
remember what's what. I remember most of them. The obelisk, I do not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's
but,
okay.
but yeah, I mean, you're more than welcome to walk up there and kind of take a look. There's a little path, like right
Yeah.
where the shrubbery is.
it'll be like an hour later, take my blindfold off, and y'all are gone. Usually what happens.
Did I take my glasses off?
Did you use your headset yet?
I have.
Where's your phone?
Peanuts.
Yeah, Charlie Brown.
All right, so this is a disposable blindfold. I do not want this back. So, Anna, you're going to have to give up your spirit box to Dad, and you're going to take his EMF meter. You guys are going to swap. Do you want different earbuds, or you good with what you
I'm
got?
good with her.
Okay.
Take my earwax.
Take your earwax.
I'm used to her funkiness.
So I'm going to set these next to you, but Anna's probably going to be the one putting these on you when we come back, because you'll already be blindfolded. If you want to try to figure out your blindfold while we're gone, by all means do so, but it is like an origami project. So if you can figure it out, they're disposable. I don't want your eye boogers either. So earwax and eye boogers are all yours. But I'm going to go teach everybody the history of the space, and you two are going to sit here and become besties for a few minutes. You good with that?
Okay. So you're not doing anything yet.
Not yet. Nope. You guys are going to just sit here and kind of chill out. You two good with them leaving here?
Yeah.
I'm just going to go over here.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Figure out what the obelisk was for?
Yeah, Washington Light Infantry.
Oh, WLI. I figured. I didn't want to say the wrong thing.
Yeah. There was a lot going on there, but that's the gist of it.
The WLI actually owns Francis Marion Square too. So in case you've been over that way, you take meeting all the way down towards Francis Marion Hotel.
Meeting all the way down north, away from Battery.
Right, north.
Yeah, I think we've only gone down really as far as, since we've been here, as far as the what's where the train station is, the tourist thing. Now we have gone over the bridge and gone to Boone Farm and stuff like that, and other than the Uber in here.
So yeah, you probably
It's
just
been
went
more of
around where Marion
yeah,
Square
it's been
is.
more of an eating tour and museums. We went to the theater. It's been.
Oh, you don't need to keep it on him right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you want to film it
Hey,
here. You
keep
just
your
don't
eye
need
on
to
my
keep it
back here. We gotta make sure that there's nothing going. Nothing
This
stick up
space
on.
is actually the reason why we have that camera. So I actually had somebody bring one of those big chunky ones from the TV shows because they wanted to test it out. We had an 8-minute interaction inside this gate. So when I say interaction, it was, and I was like, nope, not me. It was like, hey Henry, is it okay if I read some of your poetry? Go ahead and raise your hand. He would raise his hand and then kind of give us a little bow when I finished a stanza. Like we had all kinds of interaction. The only way that this disappeared, just so you know, the only female in my group that night actually came off to the side and offered her hand to be shaken. This man is from the 1860s era. It was probably disrespectful for a woman to do that back then. He disappeared. We could not get him back. It was the only female I had that night in my group. All right, so gather around. Let me tell you why we're here. Because again, this will be like 5 minutes. Come on in, because I don't want them to hear it.
Yeah, I'm like, there's.
It's mesmerized by the it's going to pick up all these rods.
Yeah.
So the first time I came in here, because this is the new space for this year, so I only had 2 people. It was November. It was cold, and everybody else canceled. So I had a young lady using a spirit box, and I told her, just tell me whatever you hear. I don't know what people look for in this location, but we're going to see what we can find. She heard the year 1828 and the name Henry. I was using a digital word list generator, and it gave me the name Tim. This is Henry Timrod, born in 1828. So I was like, well, there's my damn ghost. I had to research all this shit to find it out. But anyway, what you need to know about him is that he was a writer, and he was sick through most of his life. Being born in 1828, he can go fight for the Civil War for the Confederate side. So he does. He goes out to the battlefield, but his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So they sent him home. Said, go be the voice of the war. They wanted him to write about what was going on out there in the battlefield. Came home, started writing poetry. He became known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. Pretty prestigious title for writers, just so you know. A couple of years go by, he's working for this newspaper, and then he has a son. The son's name is Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve, but died 9 months later on October 23rd. Does anybody know today's date? 22nd. No. We are 1 day away. I will tell you that the entire month of October has been pretty quiet through this session because Henry himself also died in the month of October. So it's almost like we're poking the bear during a very mournful month for him. So I don't know what to expect out of this. Anyway, back to Henry. So his college friend, another writer from Charleston, Paul Hamilton Haynes, says, "You're not writing as much, dude. Why don't you go use my cottage in the middle of Columbia, middle of the state, and get back on track?" So he goes out there, he writes his last words. His last words were, "Beholder of brief mortality," meaning, "Dear person with a short life." And then he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. Now, he died right there, just so you know, pen in hand, which for any writer, that would be the way to go. He's 38 years old, but it's the blood stain that we're actually after. The blood stain looks like a man writing at his desk. It was the perfect marker for him to leave behind for what his occupation was. Now, they only show this page one day a year at the Charleston Library Society, and you have to be a member of the society to be able to go see it. They show it on Halloween only, so we're coming up on that as well. However, the internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you what the page looks like, and then we're going to go talk to Cameron as if he's Henry Timrod. So we're going to see what we can get out of this, and hopefully the images that pop up through Julia's device are going to kind of complement that. So here's his last, full page that he wrote, and I'll zoom in on the bloodstain so you can see the man writing at his desk. So we do call this the blood book. So good creepy story for us to end with. Figured as much. Look at that, another tour coming through. Just wonderful. So when we get over there, you may want to pay attention of like how I'm giving them direction, so you guys know what to expect out of all of this. We're going to definitely keep filming for this, and you're obviously going to be looking for any kind of anomalies above that 2.5. We have gotten all the way up to 167 at this location, so it can go high. It hasn't been this month. I don't want to put any high expectations on anything because, again, we're poking the bear at this poor guy, and because I work heavy in October, obviously. So let's go talk to them and see what we can get out of it. All right, you weirdos. You ready for this?
Yep.
I used to have this exact male suit. That's what I was wearing on the tours, and then I found Brooks because I was having knee problems from the. Yeah, I was wearing a knee brace.
You got some arms as well.
Yeah. I loved them when I first got them. I would tell you what, I've had these Brooks for 2 months. Knee problems went away. Yeah, completely. And that's actually one of the claims from them. Did you figure out your origami project?
Well, it is like an origami project. I figured I probably better not try to solve it.
I have stacks of them in there
I was
because you
gonna
guys
say,
rip them all the time.
Oh yeah, he's like, well, I don't know what this one. I'm not.
Comes apart two flat,
Oh,
and
that
then
was weird to me.
it comes apart like a Batman mask. So this is going to go over your ears. You're going to need to take off your glasses as well.
Gotta go double blind.
So here's what to expect out of this before you guys put anything on. So obviously you're going to be seeing images in there. Your focal point for your device is right here. So there's a little dial so you can move it back and forth to make sure you can focus. You don't need to do anything yet because I haven't put my phone in there yet. When you see an image, because you're going to see a rolling gray smoke, I put that in there so you guys don't fall asleep. Yeah, exactly. So anything that's not gray smoke, it's just going to be a 2D image kind of floating right in front of it. Just tell us very simply what you see, just like kind of the image is like, hey, I see a plantation with a barn. Very simple, because I'm going to be focused on what Cameron is saying, so that way if you're interrupting it, I'm going to miss something, if that makes sense. I also keep an eye on everybody's breathing to make sure everybody's okay during this. I do not write anything down, so that way I can stay focused on the both of you. Wow, this is like really tall, really short. Like I'm going back and forth with your heads back and forth.
Look down, look down.
I know. So with yours, Cameron, you're really going to be telling us everything that you hear in real time. So do not forget to talk. Once you're under, start talking. I'm only going to keep you guys under for 10 minutes. So Anna is going to be tapping you on the leg when we're done. So you're going to be the only one that can't hear us, so we're going to have to let you know in some way, shape, or form. That's the tap on the leg. If you're talking too loud, she's going to tap you on the shoulder. So that means quiet down a little bit. We are in a neighborhood. We don't want to disrupt anybody. If we can't hear you, she's going to lift up your earmuff and say louder. We're going to keep it nice and simple. Yeah, you got a job during this too. I know you didn't want to be blindfolded, but you're going to be in there too. Exactly. So in the event that something goes awry, so I have had to tap people out of this in the past. Just the other night, I'm not going to do that. We tapped them out early. So it's about 4 or 5 minutes in and we had to get around. Once you find the company volume with your spirit box, don't touch it. So did she show you how to use the volume on there?
It's running right now.
Okay, and you can hear it?
This time.
Perfect. All right, so for you, it is blindfold first, then earbuds, then she's going to help you with the noise-canceling headphones off to the side, Anna. That's the white headphones right there. So that way you're going to spread them out and get them over his head. I'm going to start. You said you've used VR before?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I don't know
That's what Kyle's thing is.
Kyle's game is a VR.
Yeah, okay. That's right. Term.
Whereas
I know, I used a lot of initials and acronyms here.
Yeah.
So. But you guys seem pretty hip to all the tech, so I didn't feel like I needed to fully explain everything. And then Christy, you will get in a little bit tighter once we get this party started. So earbuds in, good job Cameron. And then you're going to put that over his big old noggin.
And I'm just supposed to repeat what I hear.
Yep.
So I might be talking the same time.
Yeah, but you're going to be able to hear us. So you see how that looks like gray smoke? You're going to tell us everything that's not gray smoke. So let me put this in there, and then you can slide it over here. And it's already running, so whenever you see an image, let us know what you see. There you go. Okay, it is 11:15 on the dot, so we will go for 10 minutes starting here. Henry, we are back. And I know we are very close to dates that you are not comfortable with. Yeah, let's group in a little bit further, guys. Again, I don't want to draw any more attention than I have to.
Okay.
Henry, I know we're close to a date that you do not want to talk about, but if you could tell us what that number is, I would be entirely grateful. Henry, if you are here with us, let's go back to something simple like I normally start. Can you tell us something about your occupation? Tell us what you did for a living. You can show us images, starting off the same way I normally do, just to verify that you're here. I him to tell us what he's hearing.
You hearing anything?
I can hear a little mumbling over here.
Can you hear
We're
anything?
ready to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead and start.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna restart. 11:16.
Now,
Okay, there we are. Sorry about the hiccups there, Henry. Let's get back to your occupation. Can you tell us what you did for a living?
fire singing.
Henry, tell us something about your occupation. Let's verify that you're here first before we start asking probing questions. I know it's an uncomfortable date. We are very close to an uncomfortable date.
Ball drops.
Henry, what was your occupation?
Equity. Socialism.
Henry, I need you to push through and find the right terms to tell us.
Pajamas. Pudding bowl.
I didn't even understand what he said there.
Pudding bowl.
The night to survive. $2,000 off.
Wow.
Laughter.
That's you. Henry.
Con artist.
Henry.
Shaving cream.
I'm not asking for parlor tricks here. We are looking for validation that you're here.
Used.
This would really freak you out? Julia, anything?
This spilled out.
Henry. We're using the green box. here.
Glory.
Tell us, you can show us images in this green box. That'll also validate.
She killed me.
Nobody killed you, Henry. You could tell us which disease did kill you.
Shame.
Henry. You're not giving me anything. Are you here by yourself or somebody else here with you?
1919s.
Did you bring somebody else here with you? That's a yes/no question.
Fired.
He's pretty good at listening. He's just not giving us anything relevant.
New living. Perfect time.
Henry, can you tell us your son's name?
Someone know.
Henry, I'm reaching at straws here. 'cause you're not
Old
giving us
man
much.
in your house.
Henry Timrod, I need you to push through. We're going to keep this nice and light and simple based on what tomorrow's date is. we'll stop asking about it, and you start giving us some prominent answers. I'll make a deal with you. Notice how he got quiet as soon as I started talking.
Bird.
What bird? We've seen a bird in the imagery here before. Can you tell us what bird that was?
You can use this.
Henry.
Magic cup.
Let's go with the geography of our location. Can you tell us what church is nearby? In all seriousness, Henry, imagery would work perfectly here.
Alive.
Tell us what church is nearby.
Reach.
Is he a good listener?
Yeah.
Test drive power wheelchair.
Believe it or not, I find that males listen to spirit boxes a lot better than females.
Beautiful.
Henry, we would like
92.
some specific details about your life. Let's leave it up to you. Let's see if you can give us anything that I can verify. You tell us what topic we need to discuss. Do you want me to read some of your poetry for recognition? Would that help?
Angel.
That's a yes/no question. I have a stanza of your poetry here.
Work for.
Julia, anything at
Work for.
Again. Do you want that recognition? Do I need to read some of your work?
Society. Wrong.
Henry,
Really, really bad. Alternate universe.
it's been in there about 6 minutes, just so everybody knows.
All the way.
And not a whole lot of anything coming out of
Okay.
this. Henry, to kind of stir things up, I'm going to read some of your poetry. So hopefully,
Child.
as a trigger, which child are you speaking of?
Longer.
Last
Make
stanza.
them.
I want him to keep talking and see what comes out of this. I'm going to try to ignore him as I read these measly 4 lines, just to try to trigger object this and get him.
All night.
I haven't done this in a long time. We know not in the temple of the fates, God has inscribed her doom, and all untroubled in her faith, she waits the triumph or the tomb. Can you tell me when that was written, Henry?
Seems kinda.
Seems kind of what?
Lasting.
Last
2,
stanza.
3, 4.
It was the last stanza of which poem? Can you tell me that?
You decide.
It was called Charleston, because that's where we are. Can you tell me when that was written?
Background.
What was the month when that was written?
This is a reminder.
Like that. That makes a lot of sense. It was written December 3rd of 1862, just so you guys know. Henry, can you tell me what month that was written in? I'll take imagery as well. You show me a Christmas tree on there to kind of signify December. I'm okay with that.
Shame.
Again, what are you ashamed of,
Follow.
Henry? We're running out of time.
Never.
I've asked you a lot of questions. I want you to try
Just once.
to answer any one of them that you want. I asked about the church, what tomorrow's date's anniversary is, what month you wrote that
Schedule.
poem in,
Respiratory. makes me want to sing.
We've actually had the word tuberculosis come at us. So, I mean,
That's what I thought about when he said respiratory.
yeah. Henry, any imagery
Study.
whatsoever, would you like us to go home?
I will see.
Henry,
Give another try.
when?
They're worthless.
We're just. It's ahead.
So, ouch.
Yeah. We're just here to learn more about you, Henry. This is how I learn. You tell us the phrases,
How late?
and I go verify the phrases. Just like how you and I talked about your wife. That's how I learned about Katie. And how you met.
COVID-19.
I call. Okay, go ahead and tap him on the leg. Julia, go ahead and take off your headset. So the fact that you got nothing,
Yeah.
it's exactly what happened last time. So you're now the 5th time that this has occurred in a year that I've been doing this. It kind of speaks volumes to the month that we're in. Go ahead and stop your videos, kind of show you